The day began like any other across Earth. People were busy with their routines. Students sat in classrooms, workers rushed through city streets, and families enjoyed quiet breakfasts. Everything felt normal, until every screen in the world suddenly froze. A strange symbol appeared. It was not human. It was not friendly. And it was broadcasting everywhere at the same time. At first, people thought it was a glitch or some kind of global hack. But then the picture cleared. A shattered human colony appeared on the screen. Smoke rose from broken buildings, and fires burned across a city that once looked peaceful. Millions of people watching from Earth felt their hearts stop. Something terrible had happened. In the center of the broadcast stood an alien commander. His armor was dark and heavy, marked with glowing symbols from a species humans had only met through diplomacy. His face looked proud, almost arrogant. He stood tall on a raised platform as if he believed he had achieved something great. There was no fear in his eyes. Only cold confidence. Behind him, rows of humans were forced to kneel. Their faces showed terror, confusion, and pain. They had no weapons. They had no hope. They were citizens from the colony of Nova Trion, a planet known for its peaceful nature and scientific research. It was a place where families lived simple lives, believing that war was far away. The alien commander raised his arm. His voice echoed through the broadcast in a harsh tone. "Let all humans see this message," he said. "Your people are weak. Your colonies are unprotected. Today, we show the galaxy the truth about humanity's future." As he spoke, human reactions across Earth changed from shock to fear, and then to something deeper, anger. No one knew what was coming next, but the tone of the alien made it clear, he did not come to negotiate. Without warning, a massive alien weapon rotated into view. It pointed at the helpless crowd. A glowing energy built up inside it, bright enough to light up the entire colony square. People on Earth shouted at their screens, desperate for something to stop the horrible moment that was coming. But nothing could stop it. With a thunderous blast, the weapon fired. A wave of burning energy swept through the kneeling humans. They vanished in a flash of light, men, women, children, 9 million innocent lives erased in seconds. The broadcast caught every detail. The screams. The fire. The shadows turning to dust. Earth watched in silence. A silence so deep that even the cities seemed to stop breathing. For a moment, the alien commander said nothing. He just looked into the camera with a cold expression. "This is your warning," he declared. "Obey our empire, or share their fate." Then the screen went black. Across Earth, people stood frozen. Some cried. Some shouted. Some could not speak at all. The pain of the moment was too much. Never in history had humanity watched such a live tragedy. Never had so many died so quickly, so brutally, while billions of others could do nothing but watch. But the silence did not last long. In the government buildings of every human nation, alarms blared. Communication officers scrambled. Military leaders gathered around holographic tables. Scientists ran simulations. Soldiers rushed to their stations. Something had changed inside humanity that day. Something ancient and powerful awakened. Humanity no longer felt grief alone. Grief turned into an emotion the galaxy feared, united human fury. World leaders spoke in quick, sharp tones. For the first time in centuries, old rival nations worked together without hesitation. There were no arguments. No debates. Everyone understood what needed to be done. A single message spread through the military networks. Activate the hidden fleet. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in underground hangars that most citizens never knew existed, giant steel doors opened. Massive engines roared to life. Colossal warships, ships designed in secret for a crisis exactly like this, powered up their glowing cores. In orbit, satellites shifted. Defense platforms turned their weapons outward. Space stations prepared for rapid deployment. Human fleets across the galaxy received emergency orders. Humanity had been attacked many times before. But this time was different. This time, 9 million innocent humans were slaughtered live for the entire world to see. That moment moved every human heart. And every human heart whispered the same words. If they want war, we will bring the end. Part 1 ends with the hidden human fleet rising through Earth's atmosphere, engines blazing, heading into the cold darkness of space with one mission: justice for the fallen. The human fleet cut through Earth's sky like rising giants. Their hulls glowed with blue power, their engines burning with a quiet fury. As the ships climbed into orbit, the world below watched in silence, millions standing outside, looking up at the streaks of light tearing into space. Humanity had awakened. Across continents, military bases opened vaults that had never been touched. Weapons sealed for centuries were pulled out. Satellites that had slept for decades lit up with bright blue rings. In orbit, engineers rushed across docking platforms, shouting instructions while robotic arms loaded ammunition crates the size of houses into warships. Even civilian ships were ordered to return home. The galaxy knew humans could fight, but it had never seen them like this, united, focused, burning with a cold, controlled rage. On the command deck of the flagship Resolute Dawn, Admiral Ryden stood with his arms behind his back. His voice was calm, but every officer felt the storm inside him. "Report," he said. "Fleet status, 97% ready," answered the operations officer. "Remaining ships are accelerating launch." Ryden nodded. His eyes shifted to the giant holomap. It displayed the alien empire who had committed the massacre, the Draxian Dominion, a species known for their pride and cruelty. They believed humans were soft. They believed humans would kneel. But they made a mistake larger than they understood. Ryden spoke quietly. 9 million dead. Broadcast to the galaxy. His grip tightened behind his back. They want to break us. Instead, they woke the Deathworlders. Humans were not called Deathworlders for nothing. Earth, their home, was one of the few planets classified as Level 5 survival hazard, a world so harsh that most species could not survive even a week on it. But humans were born on it. They adapted. They evolved. Their bodies were strong, their minds sharper, and their willpower unmatched. Other species explored space. Humans conquered it. As Earth prepared for war, every colony across the galaxy received the same signal. And everywhere, people reacted the same way. Workers dropped their tools. Miners stepped out of tunnels. Pilots rushed to their ships. Families stood outside, watching the sky with a quiet promise in their eyes. Across thousands of worlds, humans whispered the same sentence. For the 9 million. In the orbital training ring, thousands of Marines stood in straight lines. Their armor was black and silver, designed for combat on planets that tried to kill them. Commander Celine, leader of the Deathworlder Strike Corps, stepped forward. 9 million of our people were slaughtered, she said firmly. We do not fight for revenge alone. We fight so no one will ever try to hurt humanity again. A powerful silence followed. Then she added, prepare for hyperspace deployment. The Marines slammed their fists against their armor in one synchronized motion. The sound echoed through the entire ring. Meanwhile, inside a long-range patrol ship, a group of young pilots sat strapped into their seats. Most were barely in their 20s. But their eyes showed no fear. One of them, Pilot Aaron Malik, stared at the hologram of Nova Trion, the destroyed colony. My sister lived there, he whispered. They showed it live. They wanted us to suffer. Another pilot placed a hand on his shoulder. They will. But not the way they planned. Their ship engines hummed as they powered up, shimmering like blue lightning. On Earth, the president addressed the fleet through a secure channel. Humanity has always sought peace, she said softly. But peace ends when innocence is attacked. They gave us no choice. So we choose to defend our species with everything we have. Her voice turned colder. No surrender. No negotiation. Not this time. Admiral Ryden raised his hand. Begin hyperspace alignment. Across the fleet, thousands of engines shifted into formation. The sky filled with glowing rings as ships locked into warp lanes. The power readings climbed higher and higher until the air seemed to vibrate. Engineers held their breath. Pilots tightened their grips. Marines braced themselves. Then Ryden spoke the words that every human had been waiting for. Jump. With a deafening pulse of blue light, the entire fleet vanished into hyperspace, like thousands of arrows fired at once. Earth watched the stars return to quiet. But the galaxy knew one truth. The Deathworlders were coming. And nothing could stop them. The hyperspace tunnel glowed with streaks of blue and white as the human fleet shot forward. Their engines hummed like a single heartbeat, steady, calm, unshakable. Every soldier, every pilot, every ship AI felt the same thing. This was not simply a mission. This was humanity's answer to the galaxy. When the Resolute Dawn burst out of hyperspace, alarms immediately sounded. Multiple enemy fleets detected, the sensor officer said. Thousands, maybe more. Admiral Ryden stepped closer to the hologram. The enemy formation looked like a massive wall made of steel and anger. The Draxians were waiting. Their ships covered the border like a swarm of dark insects, each one armed and ready. They expected fear, Ryden murmured. They expected us to retreat. He stood tall. They miscalculated. Draxian commanders across their fleet watched the sudden human arrival. They had seen the broadcast. They believed humans would hide behind diplomacy. They believed humans would break. But now, facing the silent human armada, a cold shiver spread across their ranks. The humans did not move like prey. They moved like storms. The enemy admiral's voice echoed through their fleet. Humans dare to enter our space. Fire everything. Thousands of alien cannons lit up at once. Bolts of orange plasma shot forward like a bright wave. It rushed across space, heading straight toward the human fleet. But the humans didn't panic. They didn't even slow down. The plasma hit the first line of human shields, and disappeared. Just dissolved like dust hitting water. In shock, the Draxian officers shouted orders, trying different weapon frequencies. Nothing worked. The human shield technology was generations ahead. Then Admiral Ryden gave the command the galaxy would never forget. Return fire. The human warships unleashed their weapons at the same time. Blue-white beams sliced through space. Kinetic rounds tore through cruisers. Missiles exploded with enough force to break mountains. Entire Draxian ships disintegrated in seconds. Enemy fleet losing formation, shouted the sensor officer. Ryden spoke calmly, push forward. Human ships moved like cutting blades. They passed through the enemy lines with deadly precision. Marines boarded the larger alien ships. They moved through corridors like shadows, silent, fast, unstoppable. Meanwhile, fighter squadrons danced through the battlefield. Pilot Aaron Malik gripped his controls tightly as his fighter twisted around an enemy torpedo. For Nova Trion, he whispered, launching a blast that tore the enemy ship apart. His squadron cheered through the comms, their voices filled with emotion, not joy, but purpose. As battle after battle unfolded, the same truth became clear: the Draxians were not fighting humans. They were fighting an entire species united by tragedy. Within hours, the first 3 enemy fleets collapsed. Wreckage floated in deep space like broken memories. On the flagship of the Draxian Border Command, panic spread. Officers shouted over each other. Their admiral's hands shook as he watched the impossible happen. "How are humans so powerful?" he cried. A young officer whispered, We thought they were weak." The admiral slumped into his seat. "We mistook their kindness for fear." He turned to his communication officer. "Send a message. Offer surrender. Now." But when their transmission reached the Resolute Dawn, Admiral Ryden didn't even look up. "No surrender," he said softly. "Not after 9 million." The message was rejected. The Draxians realized then that the galaxy had changed. The species they mocked had become the storm that swallowed their borders. The human fleet continued moving deeper into the Empire. They fought through every blockade. They broke every line. And at each victory, they gave the same message to fleeing aliens. "We are not here to talk." Within days, the Draxian frontier was in ruins. Their colonies sent desperate signals for help. Their commanders begged for reinforcements. Their civilians hid underground in fear. Rumors spread faster than ships. Earth has awakened. The Deathworlders are coming. No one can stop them. And at the center of that unstoppable force stood one belief shared by every human. Justice for the 9 million. The human fleet drifted out of hyperspace like a silent storm. Ahead of them glowed the Draxian homeworld, once the brightest jewel of their empire. Now it felt small, fragile, almost afraid under the shadow of thousands of human warships. The sky above the planet dimmed as Earth's armada filled the void. Admiral Ryden stood on the bridge of the Resolute Dawn, eyes fixed on the trembling blue sphere. "Open a channel," he said, voice calm but sharp like steel. Inside the Draxian capital, chaos erupted. Government halls shook with panic. Officers ran through corridors shouting conflicting orders. Civilians hid in bunkers underground, their hearts pounding as tremors echoed from the orbital fleet above. The Draxian High Council gathered in a vast chamber. Their leader, Chancellor Varek, stared at the hologram of the human armada. His hands trembled, but he forced himself to speak. "Send a message," Varek said. "We will negotiate. We will apologize. We will." But before he could finish, the broadcast lit up. Admiral Ryden appeared on every screen in the capital. His uniform was spotless, his expression calm, too calm. "This message is your final one," he said. 9 million of our people died because of your cruelty. And you celebrated it." Council members lowered their eyes. Some fought tears. Others trembled. None dared speak. Ryden continued, "Humanity offered peace for centuries. You answered with genocide. You wanted to break us. Instead, you united us." He paused, letting the silence cut deeper. "No surrender will be accepted. No apology will be enough. Your empire chose extinction the moment it murdered 9 million innocent lives." Gasps filled the council chamber. A Draxian soldier whispered, "Extinction." Ryden lifted his hand. "Prepare the justice wave." Across the human fleet, giant circular devices unfolded from beneath ship hulls. They rotated slowly, glowing with blue and white energy. These were not bombs. They were not lasers. They were humanity's greatest and darkest invention, a planetary collapse wave created only for the gravest moment in history. But humans had never used it. Until now. On the Draxian streets, citizens could feel the air shift. A strange vibration passed through the ground. Buildings groaned. Animals cried. People ran outside, looking up at the sky where thousands of human ships hovered like silent judges. Inside the capital bunker, Chancellor Varek stood up suddenly. "We surrender," he shouted at the screen. "We surrender completely. Spare our children. Spare our homes. Humans, please, don't do this." Admiral Ryden looked at him with steady eyes. "You did not spare ours." Those 5 words broke the Draxian leaders. Tears streamed down faces. Some fell to their knees. Some screamed in regret. But humans did not cheer. Humans did not smile. Their faces remained cold, wounded, determined. This was not revenge. This was justice. Raiden lowered his hand. Begin. The justice wave devices flashed, releasing spirals of blue-white energy toward the Draxian homeworld. The waves wrapped around the planet like a shimmering cloak. There were no explosions. No fire. No destruction that tore the land apart. Instead, the planet grew still. Utterly still. The energy pulled the life from every Draxian cell. Not painful. Not messy. Just, final. A silent erasure of a species that chose genocide as its message to the galaxy. Within 1 minute, the Draxian homeworld became a quiet, gray sphere, lifeless, empty, and cold. The council chamber fell silent. Their screens faded. Their voices ended. Their empire vanished. On board the Resolute Dawn, not a single human celebrated. Officers stared at the planet in silence. Some whispered prayers. Others thought of the 9 million faces that disappeared on live broadcast. Commander Selene approached Raiden. "It's done," she said softly. He nodded. "Send the final message to the galaxy." Across every channel, every colony, every station, Earth delivered its last warning. Humanity does not seek war. But if you murder our people, we will end your world. Choose peace. The galaxy trembled. The fleet turned back toward Earth, engines burning bright. Humanity did not return as conquerors. They returned as protectors, changed forever. Families across Earth looked at the sky with mixed emotions, sorrow for the lost, pride for the united stand, and hope for a safer future. Humanity had defended itself. Humanity had spoken. Humanity had survived. And the galaxy finally understood one truth. Humans may love peace. But they are unstoppable when forced to war.